Welcome to the Wonder Bros Pod. We are back. We are here to talk about reclaiming wonder through the power of storytelling.
Yeah, we are currently we do this project based, and we're currently in our project we're calling the Countdown to Doomsday. And it's finding the storytelling elements through a rewatch of the Marvel Cinematic Universe leading up to December 18th when we're going to see the new Avengers movie.
Yeah.
And then this week this is episode 7, and we are in Iron Man 3.
Iron Man 3. We finally made it to the end of an arc.
Normally we would just jump right into the story, but we have a special guest.
We do have a special guest because he can't be left alone.
That's right.
And your sitter bailed.
My son, which I hope you watch this episode. Thanks
Yeah.
for saying no.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that you work your boundaries, and I'm a little pissed off. So thanks, boy. So this is, we brought a new puppy into the family, and this is Finn.
Hello, Finn. What's his full name, though?
Yeah. It's Fenris, because he's going to start Ragnarok one day.
Yeah.
Which, since he's a Loki child, I guess that means I'm Loki, which...
Which is everything you've ever wanted.
That's all I've ever wanted. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Honestly, I bought the dog so I could be Loki.
Exactly. Yeah, that was the whole point.
Yeah, he's a husky shepherd mix, and he's about 7 weeks old. So we need to make sure that he's not left alone very long.
Yeah.
Huskies really need to a lot of socialization. Really need to bond well with people. So keeping him really close, at least for this first week, and then we'll start working on how much time he can be apart.
We have to start posting pictures of him on the Wonder Bros Pod stories.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Go follow us on Instagram and wherever to see more pictures of Finn.
He'll probably fall asleep, but if not, we'll cut all that out.
All right, so Iron Man 3 came out in 2013.
Yep.
We are post-Avengers euphoria, trying to get back into the story, trying to get into a little bit more of a grounded story. A lot of things changed for this one. I don't know. I can't even remember where I was in 2013.
So for me, where I was I had a newborn, and remember I did not see this one in the theater. I didn't start going to the theater to watch these movies till Thor 2. So next episode we start talking about my theater experience.
Yeah.
But with this one, my third child was born at the end of 2012, so we were just trying to survive.
Yeah,
mostly.
Sure.
But it was an interesting moment in the story because we have this strange thing. We're beginning this thing called Phase 2, and none of us know that there's, maybe somewhere in some dark room there's a Phase 3 and 4 planned, and that there's this really long story.
Right. I mean, we just saw for the first time. A bunch of superheroes came together on screen and did like a storyline. So like it was kind of the first time we ever really saw that.
And as we talked about in the Avengers episode, this really had never been done before, where a bunch of solo movies were knit together into a single movie. You've got the Oceans movies, you've got the other team-up movies.
Sure.
But nothing where they used blockbuster movies to create a story about a character and then take people that did not belong together and put them in a team-up. That's Avengers 1.
Yeah.
Now we're starting Phase 2, and weirdly, we're ending a trilogy.
Yeah, with the first movie of a new phase.
That's right.
Yeah, and it is crazy. So, yeah, I do like, there's some elements of this I like, some I don't. We can go ahead and let's just jump into the origin story here.
Yep.
So, like I said, came out May 3rd, 2013. This is where Jon Favreau exited director seat.
Right.
Very sad about it. And Shane Black came in.
6 months after Avengers, he's experiencing a lot of anxiety and PTSD.
Right.
And he's 72 hours of no sleep.
Yep.
So we're not seeing, like we saw a little bit in episode 2, Iron Man 2, we saw more of the demon in a bottle substance abuser. What we're seeing now is somebody who still got a lot of liabilities.
Yeah.
But now it's more about mental health.
It is. And then with the Extremis storyline, like that's a really complicated thing because it was a story by Warren Ellis. I don't know a ton about the origins of that story and like kind of where that all comes from. I do know that there are some major things that had changed thematically in this because this is where we are kind of introduced to the Mandarin. And this is also where we get brought into the idea of what Extremis is. I'm saying that right? Extremis, yeah. And
Are you getting was it phonetic satiation, whatever that is, where you say the word too many times?
yes, and it sounds weird, yeah, and it's not really a word. So
it came up in Ted Lasso where he's trying to say the word aces.
Yeah.
We have two aces.
aces. Yeah, for sure. I think that I'm trying to remember what the storyline was. The original storyline was completely different, and I know that they changed a lot of things, and we can kind of get into that.
Yeah.
But they changed around a lot of the who the antagonist was supposed to be, and of course, like it ends up being like we think we're getting the Mandarin, kind of teased the Mandarin instead, and
Right.
it's not really, but it is introducing your favorite character, which we will get to, in all of Marvel, maybe other than
character.
Loki.
Yeah, second favorite, but that's
Second
just because
favorite.
Loki gets so much more screen time. But there is, yep, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, I think that, and we get a lot of Tony Stark without a suit. Not really sure if that felt wrong or interesting. We'll get into that a little bit as well, and then a little bit of the kid sidekick dynamic. Didn't hate it. I
Yeah.
didn't hate it. I know that Shane Black is really big on. I think I have this in my notes somewhere about he has his movies were like comic or not comic cop buddy cops buddy cop dynamics, labyrinth plots with pointed social commentary, Christmas settings.
Yeah, that's right. It's funny
So-
enough. Credit to Eric Voss on this one. The kid, Shane Black is quoted as saying the kid is supposed to be the ghost of Christmas past for Tony Stark.
Well, that sure
Little-
makes sense.
Little kid building stuff in a warehouse.
Yeah.
With no parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, really interesting little story element there that he brought him in.
It's interesting. I never really thought about that.
Yeah, no, yeah. Again, Eric Voss pulled that, but
That's good. Yeah, good job, Eric Voss.
that's right.
Can we be friends?
Shout out to New Rock Stars.
How many
Please
times,
follow us.
How many times do we
Every episode, I'm going to say his name and the handle.
That's actually
Eventually,
like-
AI is going to connect us.
I was gonna say like the algorithm. I think that it's like one of those. You know how like you see the people on social media. It's like I'm gonna do this every day until they notice me or whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
We're
That's
doing
right.
a subtle way of doing
Please
it.
watch our shorts 4 times in a row to reset your algorithm. Yeah.
All right. So the comic book source. So Warren Ellis is Extremis. I want to say I know it's Extremis, but I want to say Extremis. I think that's why it's wrong in my head.
That's right. Yeah.
Anyway, Extremis was intended as a total reset for Iron Man. Warren Ellis described it as reimagining Tony Stark as a test pilot for the future rather than a legacy arms dealer. Iron Man was a floundering property before this run. Sales had cratered. Ellis and artist Adi Granov, I hope I'm saying that okay, rebuilt him from scratch essentially. So this is almost a reboot for Iron Man in the comics, which is interesting. And but the Extremis serum in the comics originally was a nanotechnology super soldier serum variant.
Oh, wow.
So very different.
Which you
Instead,
did-
we have human bombs. So
Yeah. That's interesting. Okay, got it.
yeah.
Okay.
And so it could rewrite human DNA and interface with suits directly with the brain's repair center. You can see why we didn't do this story, because I'm sure somewhere in Feige's brain or somewhere in there, he was like, nanotechnology comes later in Tony Stark's storyline. So, and it's much different.
Though the Mark 42 is sensors in Tony's bloodstream. You see him in the beginning.
Right.
To bring the suit, to be able
That's
to be able
true.
to communicate with the suit is. So they catch a little shadow of that.
That's true.
But yes, they don't.
It's
But
quickly
that's
stopped by the suit almost killing Pepper.
right.
And then it's like, okay, we got to go back to the
Though-
drawing board on that one.
It's funny that suit falls apart 3 times.
Yeah.
It just falls apart 3 times, and every time it ends up serving. Like, but it's still like it's like,
Ends up serving.
doesn't work. Yeah, I mean, it served the purpose of the story, but
I thought you were saying serving, like, you know, like how the kids say, like, that's serving
that's
something.
right. Yeah, it was
like,
cooking.
It was, yeah, we're cooking. No,
That's
I
right,
don't know if
that's
that's
right.
the same
They brought
thing.
the whole
We're-
ass meal.
We're sounding old. We got to stop. Moving on.
Well,
in-
go ahead.
In the comics, Aldrich Killian is a minor character. He steals the Extremis prototype, gives it to a domestic terrorist named Malin, then commits suicide out of guilt. And that's it. He's essentially a footnote in the
Wow.
comics. So super crazy, very, very different. The comics visual template is where the cinematic Iron Man armor was born. So Adi Granov was brought on as a producer for Iron Man 1 to design the suits based on his Extremis artwork. So he has a huge influence on all of the Iron Man movies.
There's also a retcon in AIM because originally
Yep.
AIM is an arm of Hydra,
Yep.
It's like another word for that. But in this case, it really just puts it up against Hammer Tech and Stark Enterprises as they call it a think tank, but it's producing weapons.
Yeah. And Feige wanted to do the Extremis storyline since Iron Man 1, believe it or not, but nobody would bite until Shane Black came along.
With respect to Shane Black, he had done Kiss Kiss Bang Bang,
Right.
which really got Downey Jr. kind of vaulted him back into the
Right.
public spotlight, which is why Downey asked to have him in when Favreau left.
Right.
And,
He basically was like, this is the guy. Like,
Right.
you need to use him. Yeah. He very hardcore pushed for him.
And I know we have kind of a what if scenario on what if Favreau would have stuck around for it, but honestly, I think this was a good call.
I think it was. We'll get into it a little bit. But yeah, so he championed him. You got a little bit ahead on my notes here.
Sorry.
It's fine. Yeah, so Black's signature we talked about. So so kind of the original villain for this story was actually a woman. So initial drafts had Maya Hansen leading the villainous operation.
Oh, cool.
Essentially a female Killian running AIM. So that was a very different thing. A Marvel executive, not Kevin Feige, I should specify, issued a memo requiring the villain be changed to a male character. Reasoning given was toy sales potential. All right.
Okay.
Whatever. It's so funny how some of these things
I
just
want
don't
that guy's
age well.
name.
Yeah, we need to put him on blast, actually.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We're gonna
Female. There are
dox
not
him.
enough female villains, and they're always. I can't. I'm trying to think. What is a female villain? Can you think of one? Like a good female? Because like female villains would be so much more complex and interesting.
Well, there are a couple of storytelling elements in that. So whenever you talk about the origin, you're talking a little bit more about like budget and who's there. But there are a couple of storytelling origins that really matter to me here.
Yeah.
The first one is we're set I said this already. We're set 6 months after the Battle of New York.
Mm-hmm.
So even had Tony immediately gone into therapy, he'd only be 6 months into it, and we know that he hasn't.
No,
So
and even if he did, no therapist in the world
knows
could
how to
handle that
handle
in
with
6 months, let alone.
I caught a nuke that was going to kill everyone in Manhattan.
Yeah.
And instead I sent it through a wormhole.
Into space and thought definitely not coming back.
And then in the last millisecond fell through the last vestiges of that wormhole. And then was worried that somebody kissed me to wake me back up. Right. Please, nobody kiss me. So notable PTSD, anxiety, panic attacks. Also, you see what was a Mark I suit to a Mark II suit, and then in Avengers, you get the Mark VI to the Mark VII.
Right.
Then you got Mark 8 through 42.
Yep. We did not see that progression.
Right.
Yeah.
In addition to 8 through 42, this whole story, and I hope I'm not getting ahead of your notes, this whole story is going to deal, in my opinion, with what is the role of the suit and what is the role of the man. That is a theme that's going to feed this entire story.
Right.
Which I think they did a fantastic. There's a couple of moments where I think they did an incredible job.
Yeah.
Reminding us that Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man. The suit is a high-tech prosthetic.
All right, so let's jump into the pull list. Hit me with your first pull.
Very first pull for me is Pepper as Rescue. So that's Pepper's name, right? Rescue. When she puts on the suit, what's the superhero name for Pepper whenever she's?
That's a great question. I have no idea.
I think it's called Rescue.
Okay, we'll go with it. Somebody correct us.
Yeah, somebody fix that. Obviously, we don't actually see that until Endgame, but we get this moment where Tony throws the suit at her, and then she literally rescues Maya Hansen. And then once Jarvis says that they're both away, then he pulls the suit back. And so you're getting what we don't know to be foreshadowing, but then for all the comic book nerds, they're like, "Oh my gosh, it's Rescue! She's in the Iron Man suit." That was my first pull. I think that went really well, given all the complexities of that was it Malibu, that mansion falling apart.
Yeah,
and this probably all happened in about 45 seconds of clock time, but in cinema time, it happened in an entire scene.
Yeah,
of him seeing the explosion, him sending the machine, her getting her out, him taking it back. It was a big deal. It was a really great move. I think it was really well shot, and it did a lot for the story.
Yeah, for sure. I completely agree. I feel like the storyline in general, kind of jumping into that whole. It's interesting to me because we don't get that payoff either until Endgame. So it's like that was a very big tease, a very early tease. It's like, is that all we get? Maybe it is. The Mandarin reveal, I actually really liked because I mean, you got to think like trailers sold Ben Kingsley as a terrifying like composite terrorist, like part Bin Laden, part cult preacher. Off.
Ben Kingsley sold Ben Kingsley as a terrorist. I was scared of that guy.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, the trailers like framed him though as like this is a big bad. This is gonna be good. We finally getting the Mandarin, and we got the perfect guy to play him.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And so part Bin Laden, part cult preacher, part revolutionary warlord, which was definitely I think was well done. His voice design, Kingsley wanted to disconcert a Western audience with something familiar and teacherly rather than foreign.
Oh gosh, and it was so good.
It was good.
Knowing now what I know about that character, because he shows up in he shows up in Shang-Chi, he shows up in Wonder Man.
Yeah.
Knowing everything we know about that character.
Yeah.
And then walking it all the way back to his mastery of that role.
Yeah.
And it's a role within a role, and you see both. So this is something I loved about Batman Begins. You watch Christian Bale play Bruce Wayne, the tortured orphan adult. Right. You watch Bruce Wayne, the playboy, and you watch the Bat.
Yeah.
In this one, you watch Sir Ben Kingsley, phenomenal actor, play two roles at once, and he nails it.
Yeah.
He nails it. There's some fizzle here. I'm going to talk about that later.
I think we have the same fizzle, actually.
But by far, that funny narrative twist for me, that pull where he's like, he's here and he's not here. He's here, but it's not here. You're right.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's probably should they get you off drugs? Like, no, they gave them to me.
They gave them to me.
They gave me things. And you're like a starving actor on the streets of LA who's doing things he's not proud of for drugs.
And it's like his lowest point. It's him being the Mandarin. Like it's his rock bottom.
It was so precious.
It was so good, and there were so many elements of it that I loved, and that's why I made the pull list. I'm not going to put this fizzle side into it. I'm just going to briefly mention it here instead, which is what I didn't like about that whole idea in the reveal was that it basically mimicked the last Iron Man.
Oh, okay.
Because we got like you think this guy's the villain, but it's actually this guy that's behind this guy supporting him.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And it's kind of like, I felt like it was unoriginal in that way. I was like, but like the overall, like bringing in Trevor Slattery, bringing in this idea of like an actor playing him, and that it was good. It was interesting. But it did feel a little disconjointed for me, with the whole aim and then the bodies exploding. And like, how does that have to do with anything? And it was just him taking credit for it, which is, hilarious.
Right. Yeah. I'll talk about that in the fizzle.
Yeah, for sure. All right, next pool.
Yeah, this is not my phrase. Somebody else said it on the internet, but the moment after Happy has, he's sort of, the Chinese theater's blown up, and he kind of points at the dog tags, and then I think it's actually Eric Voss who said it.
Of course it was.
I don't know.
You listen to no other shows.
No, that's not true. But I listen to him more religiously.
No, that's what it
He's
sounds
the
like.
patron saint of anyway. So
BD is my guy.
Really?
Brandon Davis.
Yeah. Great stuff, and I love when you bring him to task on this. Alternate universe Sherlock Holmes was whenever he's like has Jarvis recreate the scene, and he's like being a detective. Yeah. He's looking for it.
Sure.
And he finds the dog tags.
Yeah. That was like, a really cool scene.
It was a cool scene. Yeah, that's right. And again, with Iron Man, unlike Thor, where the conversation is about the interaction between science and magic, or Captain America, where the interaction is between morality and functionality, right? Like my moral center as a man from the 40s versus what's happening in 2012. Iron Man consistently is the interaction of technology advanced and what's the role of morality in advanced technology. And so watching him use advanced technology is really important in every movie.
Yep.
We see him, wake up daddy's home, right? And like we see him do that kind of stuff, and I really like it. And I loved that scene. It hit really good for me.
Yeah, for sure. I did have Tony's panic attacks, kind of PTSD as part of that. We kind of talked about that. So I'm going to jump to my next one, which is the 1999 flashback of Killian's Grudge. I thought that I liked that part of it. I thought it was kind of fun. I like to see earlier Tony, pre-Iron Man 1 Tony, kind of coming back in that moment. They did a good job of making him look kind of similar to Iron Man 1 too, which was always kind of fun. Because by this point, it already felt like so long since Iron Man 1.
Yeah.
You know, we're only talking about a few years, really.
Yeah.
A couple years.
There's been a lot of story happening.
A lot of story happening.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah. And so I did love that. And I think that, you know, a drunken Tony brushing off a disabled scientist, Aldrich Killian, promises to meet him on the roof. I think all of that was kind of funny. It was like a great, like, prequel to what was about to happen. And of course, I think that, what's his name? I feel bad. Guy Pearce, thank you. Guy Pearce did a good job of playing like kind of a different, like a whole different vibe in the beginning. And
it's
then
a pull for me.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a pull for me that they did a good job of making him, you know, even whenever he reveals himself to Pepper, and she's like, this guy used to always try to hit on me and ask me out, and he walks in and she's like, oh my gosh, what'd you do? And he's like, I don't know, like meditation, yoga, physical therapy.
Yeah.
Obviously it's the Extremis technology, but yeah, what you did first was you nerfed a beautiful man
Right.
in Act 1.
Yeah.
And then when you bring him into Act 2, you're like, oh, damn. And
you see Pepper be like, okay, hit on me.
yeah, right. I'll take
I'll take a little bit of
I'm
that.
going to say no to the technology, but you can hit on me all you want.
Yeah, show me that brain.
That was actually, and again, talking about the interaction of technology, again, and I talked about this in Iron Man 2, where I didn't like Hammer
Yeah.
because he was so comically inept.
Right.
Because the reason why that was such a frustrating moment for me was because by the time I'd watched Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3 had already come out.
Right.
And Killian feels competitive to Tony.
He does.
He's got similar competence. He may not be as intelligent, but he's similarly competent. He has just as much money.
Yep.
And he's doing big mover stuff.
He is. Yeah.
I liked his character as a bad guy.
My main point for the 1999 flashback that I love, though, is this idea that it creates this theme that Tony Stark creates his villains.
Yes. Over and over again.
Right?
100%.
The theme that running from Obadiah Stane through Justin Hammer to Killian and eventually to
Ultron.
Mysterio in the Spider-Man films. Like all of it, like all of his technology and his influence it has no bounds, no boundaries. It'll keep going, and it just creates more and more villainy.
Oh, and not only did it create Ultron, but then in the What If TV series, it creates Ultron defeating the multiverse.
Right.
Tony Stark makes, and that is the first line of the movie. Somebody once said, we create our own monsters. Or whatever. Yeah, that line.
Yeah.
Where, and you watch that happen. Absolutely. It's a good pull. It's a good pull.
All right, what else you got?
Mine jumps all the way to the end. So if you have anything else before the end of the movie, pull that, and I'll tell you my last one.
The Air Force One rescue. I'm putting this in as a pull. It's interesting. Remotely controlling 13 suits simultaneously while in Tennessee, arguably the most impressive technical flex of the trilogy.
Yeah.
But then, 13 people fall from Air Force One. Tony catches them all in a human chain using repulsor blasts. Was ridiculous. It was almost cartoony. Like it was. I was like, are we jumping the shark right now? Like I don't know
Very
about
close.
that. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like it was just. Yeah, it was very close. It was like at the end, I'm like, all right, I'll go with it. It's fine, whatever.
Well, so yes, and I think the only thing that saved that for me from jumping the shark actually is. What was the second book? Dan Brown wrote the Da Vinci Code, and then he wrote Angels and Demons.
Yep.
And in Angels and Demons, I don't know if this science is real, but in Angels and Demons, the very first scene of that book is the main character jumps out of a helicopter with a 4x4 piece of canvas and uses it to slow himself down enough to not die without a parachute. And so the task here is not fly with people. The task is slow them down enough so that the water doesn't feel like cement.
Right.
And the water feels like water. So that's the only thing that saved that jumping the shark for me.
Yeah.
And I have it as I know we don't normally jump ahead, but I have it as my spark because that was done with actual skydivers. That was the Red Bull skydiving team.
Wow.
That's kind of cool.
That is a fun fact.
Yeah, that they did that for real.
Another fun fact, Air Canada famously cut this scene from their in-flight version. And honestly, that's probably the only reason that I put it in as my poll, because I wanted to say that fact. And I think it's so funny. I think it's so funny.
I mean, because we do that, right? Like, I used to travel a lot for a previous job, and about 100 days a year I'd be in other countries. And it'd be a movie I'd already seen, but I'd be on like a Emirates Air flight.
Mm-hmm.
And so because it's from a Muslim country and they're just far more conservative in the media that they allow,
Right.
you'd see like a movie that was supposed to be 2 hours be an hour and 40 minutes. And it's 20 minutes of content that's been cut out, either because it's like an F-bomb or there's a sex scene or something. And so to think like, hey, we don't want anybody to wonder what would happen if we all fell out of the side of a plane. Let's cut that scene.
Yeah, let's not think about like a plane exploding in midair.
That's funny.
Well, my next poll is about the ending. So you go ahead and say yours, and we'll see if it's the same one. Because we, listeners should know that we don't talk about these ahead of time.
We don't. We bring this in because when we first started doing this, I was like looking over at your fucking notes and going,
like,
"Yeah,
don't
I love that.
steal my homework."
I love that one. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. You were the one doing your work, and I was the one going like, "Hey, do my homework for me." So thank you for telling me I can't do that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all the way at the end, the surgery to remove the shrapnel.
Yeah.
The suit is now no longer saving Tony's life. The story has become. We have this, and I'm going to pull it up in the spark around. We have this whole scene where he's not wearing a suit, and then we get all the way to the end where they've actually taken the shrapnel out, and now he's there by choice.
Yeah.
And that for me, it hit emotionally to me that like originally the only reason that reactor, it wasn't even a reactor, it was an electromagnet in his chest was saving his life. Jensen put it in there to keep him from dying. Now at the end of the trilogy, shrapnel's gone. He can choose.
Right.
And then we get Age of Ultron. Then we get him coming back as Iron Man. For a different reason.
And creating a very, very bad villain in the process.
That's right, yeah.
He's his true self.
And another problem.
Yeah, he creates a bigger problem.
That's right. Anyway,
Is this a theme we're going to see in Doomsday? We don't know.
Oh,
I hope so.
So so part of me, I think so. I think.
You think so?
I think so. I think what we find is a different world where instead of Mark 8 through 42, we have the first generation of Doombots. I think that's what we got.
I don't know. It's hard to say.
Yep.
I mean, you read it's like as of the airing or the recording of this episode, we have not yet seen the Doomsday trailer. They have not released it, but we have
Just
seen
released at CinemaCon, but we haven't seen it.
Right, we haven't seen it, and they did a crazy. I read a thing. I don't know if it's true. I have not tried to fact check this at all, but there was like they were talking about how like it's crazy how no one leaked this trailer. Like no one has leaked it, and they said people that were there were saying that they witnessed. They saw people around the top of the room with night vision goggles, which I guess means like did your camera put out infrared, so you would see that in the night vision.
Yep.
And they literally have these like laser beams, these green lasers that would shoot at the phone and stop them from recording it. Like it would like mess up the video. I guess I don't really know how that works. If that's
when
real
you're
technology.
making $1 billion per movie,
Yeah,
you probably can afford some crazy technology.
people are like theaters are going to start having this, and I'm like, no, they won't. I've worked for theaters. I know for a fact they're not going to have that. If I can sneak 40 people in the back door of a theater, you're for sure not going to have the lasers in the ceiling. So I'm going to piggyback on your pool there. The final, I liked, Tony destroys all of his suits. His surgery to remove the shrapnel. Throws the arc reactor into the ocean, which you didn't mention. So like I'll add that onto yours. And his final line, "My armor was never a crutch; it was a cocoon." That's an interesting line. Not something that I felt like he would say.
Okay,
it seems a little bit like too poetic and flowery for somebody who's so pragmatic and so like calculated. That seemed a little bit just. I don't know, a little bit out of the. But I do like that my armor was never a crutch, but it kind of was. So like it's I don't know. But anyway, suits are done.
I mean, I think the whole movie is the until the kid says you're a mechanic, right? Build something.
Yeah.
Until that happened, the suit was a crutch.
Right. Yeah,
and
it was his safety net. It was his safety blanket.
That's
what
right.
It was.
That's right.
Yeah, so, suits are done. Tony Stark survives, though, and the man is the hero, not the armor.
Right.
Directly sets up his arc in Avengers Age of Ultron, rebuilding obsessively, this time out of fear of something bigger. And I do love, on this note, the post-credit scene where you realize the entire time he was narrating to Bruce Banner.
That's coming up for me in a minute. I'm going to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who had fallen asleep.
That's right.
Yeah, all right, cool. So we ready to move on?
To the gutter.
Oh, we're doing the gutter. Okay. I had this out of order. I was going to do spark and fizzle.
Let's do the spark and fizzle.
Okay, give me your first spark.
Barrel of monkey scene. I liked it. I thought that, one, that it's done with actual skydivers. I thought that, again, the science here is not about keeping them from dying. It's slowing them down enough so that they can hit to the water. That sparked for me. I thought it was really well done.
It's interesting. I didn't know that about the skydivers. I also didn't really think about the fact that any of that would have been real. Falling through the sky. I kind of thought all of that was CGI. So now I'm a little bit more interested in how they got the armor in there. Like, which part of it is CGI? Because, like, if some of it looked CGI, like falling through the air. So, like, it's interesting to. I want to see behind the scenes on that scene.
Yeah, sure. Let me qualify that because I do know the answer to some of that. It is not all.
Oh,
yeah, right. Yeah, there's
not really an Iron Man suit.
What? I was like, wait a minute.
Can I just say, I need to interject a personal note. So my wife, Madison, we were having a conversation the other day, and I leaned over to her. No, we weren't having a conversation. We were at a soccer game, and I leaned over to her and I said, if I ever had just like a stupid amount of money, like not crazy amount, but just enough to like splurge on something, you know what I'd get? And she said, an Iron Man suit. And I was like, how did you know that was what I was about to say? Because I had literally just seen an ad about like those the motorized helmets, and I was going to say just the helmet.
Cody,
but
no one who knows you would have missed that.
Do you think you would have said it?
100%. I would have said you get an Iron Man suit. 100%. Every one of your Cody, we know you about. We know this about you.
I did not. So I was shocked to think that out of all the things that I would have said, like I do music, I do music things. So I have a lot of music things. I have all these podcasts. I have lots of tools and things that I use. Lots of different toys in different categories. So like. But I think what qualified it was like something that was completely unnecessary and just completely frivolous, right? Yeah, she called it, and I was like, "Oh my God, how did you?" And it just my face. I felt my face like get red, and I was like, "What? No, how did you?" Anyway, so
because you got seen.
I guess, it's like, wow, you really know me.
That's right. What a great spouse. What a great partner. Yeah,
it was good.
Yeah, that's right. I love that. So, man, one, obviously you'd pick an Iron Man suit, but two, that for people that don't know, Madison is such a great partner for you, and she helps with the podcast.
She does. Shout out to Madison. She's doing all the social media stuff, so that is her making all those posts and making it all happen.
Yeah. All right. Bring me into your next spark.
Well, I was going to talk about Ben Kingsley's dual performance, but you really actually said exactly what I would have said, so I think we're good there. I think that Shane Black's written dialogue for RDJ and the kid, Ty Simpkins as Harley, have the best. It was a really great, felt natural chemistry between them. There was that, and the moments where like they're walking through the I'm cold.
Because we're connected.
Yeah, it's so good. He just drives off. It's so good. So the kid, I love the kid in this movie. That was like the redeeming factor for me in this movie, honestly.
Okay.
In many ways, was the kid.
I love that. Have you ever seen the movie The Kid?
I don't know. Remind me what
Bruce Willis plays an image consultant. And so he's like, anyway, and his younger self travels from the past to the present. And he keeps trying to think he's trying to fix the kid.
Yeah.
And eventually he's on a plane and the lady's like, why would the kid come to you to be fixed? Like, no, he's coming to you to fix you.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
And anyway, so that
I don't think I've seen that actually.
It's one of those like low budget Disney movies that kind of got thrown out.
With Bruce Willis?
Yeah.
Wow,
yeah. Well, I mean,
surely I've seen it if it's a Disney movie. I saw it as a kid probably.
Real quick, the with Bruce Willis line, like Bruce Willis, one, sadly, never won an Academy Award.
Yeah.
Fantastic actor. Done a bunch of really great movies, but he's also done some shit movies. Did you ever watch North with Elijah Wood?
No.
He dresses as a pink bunny the entire movie.
I kind of want to just get really high and watch that.
Dude, it would be fun because you're not sure if he's imaginary the whole movie.
Oh, man. It's like the show Wilfred. Have you ever seen Wilfred?
I haven't.
Oh, my God.
No.
It's crazy.
But what's anyway? Yeah. So Bruce Willis was known to do stuff because he'd like to be paid, and The Kid is one of those movies. It's a great little movie, by the way. It's a PG movie. It's really good. We used to let our kids watch it, but very similar banter between the two of them, as you see in this movie.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, my next spark is a line the kid said. You're a mechanic, right? Build something.
Right.
And the reason it sparked for me was because up to this point, we're watching Tony. He has a panic attack in the restaurant because a kid sends him brings him a drawing. He runs to the suit. Now the fucking suit's not working. Now what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And he has to decide, am I Iron Man or is the suit Iron Man?
Yeah.
And so he builds, he brings a little mini repulsor, he puts it on his hand. He builds a bunch of, basically glorified potato gun, and he storms a castle without his suit.
True, yeah. And the mini repulsor makes a return in Civil War.
I don't remember that.
Or is it, yeah, it's Civil War. Yeah, whenever he's like, right before we're introduced to Black Panther, this is a little teaser for the future, but they're having that fight, and wait, is it?
Maybe, I don't remember.
Yeah, no, it's because they're after Bucky.
Yep.
And he is trying to, he like, something comes out of his, and he has like a little repulsor, and he shoots it because he didn't have the suit on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, it's interesting. It's like the continuing themes of Tony Stark is interesting, yeah.
Yeah, when I rewatched this movie, the thing that just sort of immediately stood out, because you watch it the first time, and you don't know what's coming, and then you watch Endgame and go back and watch them all again, and you're like, okay, what elements of the story do they lead all the way through and thematically go through this entire arc? And this, is he the hero or is the suit the hero?
Yeah.
And he has to reckon with that.
Does the suit maketh the man or the man maketh the suit?
Does the mother know thou wearest her drapes?
Sure, yeah.
Oh, he woke up.
We have to have a little break for this little puppy right
pause
here.
for the break.
How do you not? I just want to pet this dog the whole episode.
I have been.
I know.
Like, it's going to come up in the video. Like
it's been great watching him try to stay comfortable too. He's just like
I've been Dr. Eviling this thing the whole time, just like petting my dog.
It's a really good reference. Oh, that's really funny. I like that.
And in about 4 months, he's going to be so big he won't be able to sit in my lap. So he's a real husky. He's going to be a big husky. So yeah. Anyway.
One last spark, and this is just a quick one. It's just kind of an interesting thought, which was that it occurred to me this last time that I watched it, which is that the Mandarin's like media critique, the think tank of people creating a modern terrorist line, I thought was pretty smart. Like it was kind of an interesting concept, and it's just something I never really thought about before. It's like we always think of like the head of a terrorist organization as like this main guy who's just in charge of everything, and generally is probably how it is. But as we get into it, I mean, there's terrorists. I think there's terrorist organizations in the U.S. arguably, and a lot of them are think tanks of
the
billionaires.
Department of Justice, as it were.
Sure. I was thinking like oligarchs and billionaires, but yes, all
Also
that too.
Possible, yeah.
Interesting. So, all right, let's move on to the fizzle side.
Actually,
of this.
do you have it written down? Because I'll put this in the Discord or whatever. But like that line, you're right, where he's like, the rhythm of a Baptist preacher, and pulling on this. He used essentially social science to engineer the worst possible terrorist we could imagine. Yeah, really, just as a smoke show. Yeah. Just like checking all the boxes of fears. That's right. What will get the most people afraid? Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's one. Have you ever seen Wag the Dog? A long time. Yeah, where Dustin Hoffman basically creates a fake war in order to protect it. Yeah. One, probably actually literally happening right now. And has happened before, probably. And has happened before. Yeah, that's right. But at the same time, this idea that Aldrich Killian is wagging the dog here to make a problem and to even say, like, hey, I'm going to own both the most powerful country in the world with the largest defense and the most powerful terrorists in the world. I'm going to own them both, and we'll make money on both sides. Yeah. That's pretty intense. For sure. All right. What did you think about, before we move on to Fizzle, this probably should have been in the pull list, but what did you think about his conversation when he said, I was up on that roof, and the first thought I had was, take the shortcut down. Right, he said, I'm going to jump off. Yeah. But then he said, was it anonymity? Is that the word he said? Or invisibility? He said, I learned after the big guy with a hammer fell from the sky, I learned that the real power is not the person sitting out in front. It's the power behind the throne. Yeah, it's probably anonymity. I think he said anonymity. Yeah. But when I watched this again to come back through this thing, I was like, oh man. One, he's not wrong. In in a 21st century world where all of us throw stuff on, I mean, we're doing it. We throw stuff on social media, talking all about our lives, and want everybody to kind of hit the heart and like it, share it, follow. Please like, share, and follow.
Shameless plug.
But as we're asking for that, the people who get quiet, you know, I heard this once. Bill Gates didn't allow his kids to have social media,
Right. Yeah.
and wouldn't let them into Microsoft until they were in their late teens.
Yeah.
That's the company he runs.
Yeah.
And like the idea that this is all of this sort of titillating to the masses, there's actually a whole set of quiet people in the back going, there are levers to pull here where we can be profitable,
Yep.
or we can be powerful, or both.
Yeah.
And we watch that with Killian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Fizzles.
Gary. Fuck Gary. That's the dude in Tennessee in the back of the van who's like, I do this tattoo based on a doll that I made of you. It was like
The whole thing.
It almost jumped the shark for me. I was like,
awful.
Man, like, come on.
I did like Tony needs Gary.
Yeah, and
I like that
Gary
part.
needs Tony.
No.
It's like it was gross. It
Yeah.
was weirdly homoerotic, which I don't.
Sure.
Don't get me wrong. This is not about people get
It
to
was
love
just
who
out
they
of
love.
place. Yeah.
It was just weirdly placed.
Yeah.
And the comedian, with all respect to him, he did a great job delivering his lines. It was just the weirdest. Like, why are we doing this?
On that note, anybody, let's just go ahead and point this out. This is not on my list, but we got to talk about it. There are multiple points. This is a shout out for us in this movie. He lands in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
That's right. Yeah. Uh-huh.
But here's the thing. This is why it's a fizzle for me. It's hilarious. 2 points. One, he lands in snow. It never snows in Chattanooga, Tennessee. He technically like landed in kind of like outskirts, but you
Rosa,
literally see Miss Chattanooga. Like it's supposed to be pretty close.
That's right. Yeah.
Also, like the Miss Chattanooga, like the Miss Tennessee, is happening in like a tiny little building. Anyway, all of it made us seem like very podunk. We're not.
That's right. We have the fastest internet in the world.
But that's the other point, which is that he gets in the van and he's like, "What is up with this slow internet?" And and that was right after we had 1 gig speed before anybody else in the world did.
We had it before the Google cities.
Yeah, it was way before Google.
That's
We were the first fiber optic city in the world.
I know.
Having 1 gig speed, and now we have way more than that.
That's
and
right. It's 5 gig. Yeah.
And 10 gig.
Oh, I haven't seen that
But
yet.
it's business. It's way higher. We don't afford that. But yeah, so like those 2 points always get me and make me kind of chuckle because I'm like, what the hell was this? He's landing in Podunk, Tennessee, and there's like feet of snow. Like, no. And it's that cold. It's never going to happen.
That's right. Yeah.
But,
we get about 2 inches of snow twice a year, and it lasts for about 4 hours.
It doesn't even last the whole day.
That's right.
We might get a morning of snow.
Yeah. But then the idea that we didn't have great internet in 2013 when the rest of the world hadn't heard of gig speed yet, and we were one of the only cities in the world to have it at that point. Yeah, that's right. It was that didn't fizzle for anyone else but Chattanoogans, but that fizzled pretty hard for me. Yeah, I'm with you.
I have to take a little break. I wonder if anybody's actually still listening to us or if they're just seeing this dog that's asleep right here.
This beautiful little puppy.
I'm like looking at the camera monitor here, and I'm like, he's just straight into the camera, dead asleep.
I'm currently like rubbing the bottom of his paw, and he's not moving at all.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so imbalanced he could fall off immediately, and I'm glad that little
we
Finn
tried to
doesn't-
put him in a crate, but he wouldn't. He was not having it. So
At
here we
first
are.
he was quiet, and then he
Yeah.
was like, "Hey, I think I'd like to be out." And of course, huskies are so noisy.
They are.
We were like, "I'm gonna pick up on the background noise," but yeah, I've had him as of the taping of this less than 24 hours. No, 28 hours.
He
I've had
keeps
him
like
20
grunting too. I can hear it in the microphone. So you guys will just have to listen to that because there's no way I'm editing that out. I can't.
Also, why would we?
Why would we?
I have another fizzle.
Yeah. Okay, hit it.
When I first watched it,
Yeah.
the Mandarin reveal
Yeah.
was 2 things for me. One, very funny. I liked the very funny.
Yeah.
I didn't love Trevor Slattery enough to want any more of that.
Right.
But then, and I'm not the only one who thought this. This kind of blew up the internet. They nerfed a pretty significant Iron Man villain.
Yeah.
The Mandarin fights Iron Man a lot in the comics, and they were basically like, "Just kidding. There's not a Mandarin."
Yeah. Mandarin's not
And then
real.
when they finally bring the Mandarin in Shang-Chi, spoiler alert, they kill him at the end of the movie.
Yeah. So he still is like
So we still don't have a Mandarin.
a footnote in the grand scheme of things. Yeah.
At best, his daughter, which to your talk about female villains. At best, his daughter is going to become the actual Mandarin for a future project, hopefully.
Oh, yeah, hopefully.
But we lost that character twice. And I was like, both times I was like, oh, man, come on. This is supposed to be a significant character.
Yeah, for sure. Fizzles for me. Pepper's Extremis arc.
Yeah.
Fucking hated it.
Say more. Keep going.
I hated it. Gives her power, then immediately promises to cure her. It's a mixed message. It was unbelievable. The jump the shark moment is when she, for me, was when she falls into the fire. Whatever. She survives the fire. I can let that one go.
Mm-hmm.
It's when she does this full arch, like flip over to hell, like kill. You know what I mean? Like, where did she learn that? She didn't. Extremis didn't give her that. Didn't give her the ability to suddenly become acrobatic.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Like that, it jumped the shark for me because I'm like, why the hell is she jumping through the air like this and suddenly becoming a great hero?
Mm-hmm.
It made no sense at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like I hated it. I hated every second of it.
I'm with you on that. The one little sliver of silver lining on that is that she's destroying the Mark 8.
Yeah,
which is cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
That's because Mark 1 through 7 got him through Avengers. Mark 8 was the start of his dysfunction.
Right.
He's about to blow up all the others, but she took out the one that actually really started that storyline. I am with you on that. That I felt like that was really that was almost jumped the shark for me.
And really, just the whole third act. Like I just didn't. I wasn't a huge fan of most of it.
Not
like,
at all.
The way that it ended. Like I liked all the suits coming out, and like we got to see all the suits. That was kind of cool.
Yep.
But overall, I was like, this felt really corny and really like formulaic for an ending to a movie.
Sure. I was bummed at how nerfed Rhodey was.
Yeah.
I felt like I would have loved to have him in a suit a little bit more.
Yeah.
And the kind of these moments where a pistol is only so accurate. That's not about the marksman. It's about the pistol.
Right.
And so we're like, Tony fires the weapon, and then he turns around and he's like, I couldn't shoot one bulb out. And he's like, and he shoots out the one bulb. And then where he like shoots the wire to save the president. You're like, okay, that's like 90s action, 1990s action.
100%.
Like, yeah. Those moments were like, come on, man. Like if you'd have put him in a suit, he could have solved the problem.
Which is probably Shane Black. Like,
you think so?
Oh, I mean, think about it, like the buddy cop stuff, the stuff he had done in the past. I mean, he kind of comes from that era of movies, so I would imagine he brought that to it in the same way that we will eventually get to my infinite hatred for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness for bringing Sam Raimi in. In the similar way, like directors get their fingerprint, they get they imprint themselves and the things that they love and the things that they think are going to work into this already developed formula. And sometimes it works and sometimes it really doesn't work.
Yeah, that's right.
And
sometimes you bring them in because you know the kind of director they are.
Right.
You don't bring Taika Waititi in to create a Sam Raimi film.
Right.
Like you don't do that. But yeah, I think you may be right there, and I don't know enough about Shane Black's films to know that was true.
I don't really either, but that's the only explanation for it.
It did feel really, it almost bordered on campy.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
Come on,
100%.
man. How?
Definitely. Yeah. Like, what are we doing with this? Like,
yeah, I'm with you on the fizzle there.
Yeah, for sure.
That's right.
The gutter. Let's hit the gutter.
Now, as a reminder, the gutter.
Yes.
Is that it's that literally the black line between panels in comic books. It's the part of your imagination that the author is leaving to you. It's a space where you see one panel, and it's the example we've used before. One panel, the guy's got his arm pulled back. Second panel, the word "pow." Third panel, guy's on the ground. Yeah. And in your brain, you told yourself the story. Person one hit person two.
Yep.
And panel 4 might twist that. You might find out that he got hit by a rock from person 3 that threw it. And so, but the point is, the gutter is these parts of the story that are not told,
right?
That you're meant to infer.
Yeah, we kind of take it a little bit into our own context.
That's right.
And talk about some of the things that stick out to us that they don't show us, and how the hell did they get there?
That's right. That's right. Yeah, yeah.
So what you got?
One of my favorite gutters here, and this is going to come up through all of Phase 2. Is I don't know if maybe it's actually a pull, not a gutter, but I'm gonna talk about it here. Notice how in every Phase 2 movie somebody loses an arm, and it's intentional. It's intentional. Feige once wanted an ode to Empire Strikes Back,
Oh,
where Darth Vader cuts off
okay.
Luke Skywalker's arm.
Sure. Yeah,
And
of course. Yeah.
And
Star
so
Wars.
in every we're going to talk about it. Every Phase 2 movie, I'm going to put it up.
Okay.
And in every Phase 2 movie, somebody loses an arm. And in this one, Tony's, it was his, I can't remember the name of the suit. One of the Mark suits has a blade that pops out and he cuts off Aldrich Killian's arm. Mm-hmm. And it's almost a direct physical move that Luke Skywalker does. He gets the cut and the pull.
Yeah.
And he and it throws the arm and I was like, now that I knew what I knew, I watched it and I went, ha, there was the gutter moment is the conversation where Feige goes, hey, somebody's got to lose an arm in this movie. Why? Because it's Phase 2. Okay, I guess.
Because we just need to do it.
All right, so today that guy's losing an arm.
Yeah. Well, and you got the flip side of that where the woman, the extremist woman, she had no arm and it grew back.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. A little reversal.
She started with no arm.
That's right. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. False face problem. The film's central theme, per Drew Pearce, the idea for Tony of false faces and the idea of the dual personality of Tony as an out superhero. Trevor Slattery is Tony Stark. Both wear costumes, both for an audience, and use their persona to avoid confronting who they really are.
I've never knit that together. That's really good.
And really good. I didn't come up with that either. That's in the book. That's in the Reign of Marvel Studios. So if you guys
shout out to Eric Voss. No.
He didn't come up. I don't know if he came up with that. He might have, but no, in the book that I've read, that a lot of these notes have come from for this particular project we're doing. That I read that in there. And then Killian's makeover from 1999 to 2013, he rebuilt himself entirely. So did Tony after Afghanistan. The question is, what you do with that reconstruction? It's an interesting, it's an interesting thing that it isn't directly obvious, but you start thinking about this constant dual personality that's happening that really is kind of all coming to fruition in Iron Man 3 is that as part of like the underlying theme of the story arc.
Yeah. My next gutter moment is the thing that we talked about before with Tony, which is that every time he's off screen, he's fixing a problem from before. Act 1, you have him sitting there with Rhodey and he's like, hey, call me in on this. I'm working on this thing. Hey, I've got right now in-flight bomb disposal. The last time we saw Tony, there was a nuke in flight.
Yeah.
He fixed the problem.
Right.
He did it again. And that's something that happens every time every time you see the suit.
Yeah.
He's fixing a problem he just ran up against. And you still don't watch the moment where he's back in the shop tinkering.
You never do.
But even here, where they call in the mechanic and the tinkerer, and he's constantly fixing stuff, you don't ever see him fixing the suit.
Right.
But it's happening.
It's constant adaptation.
And
right. What a great thread. I love that thread. I love watching that thread every time I go back through and watch the MCU movies. From beginning to end, it's the ultimate. It's always the thing. It's always the thread that holds it all together with his storyline is that idea that he constantly adapts. He's constantly problem solving. He wants to fix the world. He wants to armor around the suit, armor around the world. Right? Like ultimately, that's what he's trying to do.
That's right. Yep. Yeah. What do you got?
I have this in here. Extremis as a PTSD mirror.
Okay.
Killian's extremist subjects are largely veterans, amputees seeking a cure for wounds sustained in service.
Yeah.
The failed ones explode. They literally cannot contain their trauma.
Wow.
Tony's relationship to his suits is the same mechanism, external armor, as a way to avoid processing internal damage.
Damn, dude. That's intense. I've never thought about that.
There's so many cool themes in this that they just blew right past. And I'm like, what crazy potential there was in this script that they could. But I mean, at this time, nobody was doing this. Like, you couldn't go that deep. We didn't have movies that were going that deep in character.
What you just described was somebody writing a graduate essay, picking apart these two components. Somebody a master's degree,
sure,
or getting a master's degree. That's so powerful. As a guy, I've got a client right now. Oh man, I'm trying not to get emotional. I know we've talked about how that's okay here, but like I've got a client right now, the husband and wife. And he's been he was my first sponsor that stuck when I was in recovery.
Okay.
And as he has aged, his traumatic brain injury, his PTSD, his anxiety, and his addiction has dialed up to the point where his spouse, and I love them both, has asked him to leave.
Wow.
And now as their financial advisor, but also as people who I just love them dearly. I love these people. He literally saved my life multiple times.
Sure.
I was ready to punch my ticket, and he was the guy I called, and he said, I mean, this is such a military veteran thing to say. I don't think I've ever told you this, Cody.
No.
He said to me, don't do it. Sleep on it. But I'm your brother. So if you're going to do it, I'll load the weapon myself, but you won't be alone.
Wow.
Even when you do it. That's this man.
Mm-hmm.
And then watching him go through what he's going through. Watching him going through what he's going through, and then thinking about that in the context of this film and of the story, where it's like, we could solve that for you. And not just solve it physically, but the people you're about to serve with, this new weapon and core and group of people, they're all veterans who lost something that the VA forgot, your families forgot, and we're not going to forget, man. We're going to fix your body and give you a new family to work with. I get why those people are ready to die for each other. Mm-hmm. I get it.
Yeah.
Because I've watched it happen in my own life. I watched a guy say, hey, if you're going to punch your ticket, I'm going to be there.
Yeah.
You're going to have to do it in front of me because I love you.
Wow.
And so, fuck. That for me, I wasn't ready to talk about that tonight, but you pulling that up as a gutter moment, at connecting the two, that's really powerful, man. That you get, and this is something the MCU does really well. Other writers do it really well. You begin to sympathize with the villains because they don't know they're villains.
Right.
They might be willing to break some laws. That's a different thing.
Right.
But am I the bad guy? I don't know, man. I'm just trying to serve with my people here because we got left behind.
Right.
And now this guy has solved all that problem for us. And the cost of that is that I need to be willing to dismantle a corrupt political system.
Well, and in this storyline, even with that metaphor, the Extremis storyline, you have a bunch of people being taken advantage of that was sold something that wasn't real. Right. And then when they are in need of help, it's not given to them and held over their heads until they do what they're supposed to do,
right? Or
they implode,
right?
Because they don't get the help they need. So it's an analogy that works all the way through.
Yeah, that's right.
For sure.
That's brilliant storytelling.
Yeah, for sure.
Brilliant.
Ready to move on?
I got one more.
Okay.
So this is literally the last scene of the movie, right? So we find out this whole thing has been narrated.
Yeah.
Tony's been laying on a couch talking to Bruce Banner. Just ask the question: is Tony a reliable narrator?
That's true. Did it happen the way that he remembers it or not? Because he never tells the truth. I've never thought about that. Maybe none of that happened.
It's little moments like whenever when he's in Tennessee, and there are 6 dead, 5 shadows. One of them, 5 of them went to heaven. 1 went to hell because he didn't get a shadow. There are 6 Avengers, and later on, Wanda breaks Tony's mind to say he's the reason the other 5 die.
Yeah.
There's a moment, there's a countdown to doomsday possibility right here.
Yeah.
That Iron Man 3 is actually fiction. And Tony's processing fear.
Yeah.
That in another universe manifests itself as the death of the Avengers.
Yeah.
Anyway, that for me was like, and I didn't come up with it, but that for me, I was like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute.
Interesting thing, yeah.
Wait a minute.
I think that's kind of the beauty of a lot of these movies, too, is that, like, you see, they kind of leave a lot of threads open so that they can come back to them.
Yes.
And you get people that are genius storytellers like the Russo brothers to come in and say, oh, you know what? There's some dots here you guys didn't connect, and we can make it work. We just heard, as of the recording of this episode, just a couple days ago, I read that when they re-release Endgame in theaters in September, it's going to have new footage.
New footage, stuff that was never before. Yep, that's right.
Now that's again, that's the argument that some people are making, that it's desperation. Why do you need to go back and change that movie just to make it work for Doomsday? Because Doomsday wasn't originally the plot.
Right. I mean,
Right.
Kang was originally the plot. Yeah, that's right.
And so, which by the way, the AI clips coming out about the one with him going to the Council of Kings and destroying them all, amazing,
incredible.
And then of course my favorite one, which is how I really want Doomsday to open, is the comic book accurate of him facing Thanos in a different universe and ripping his spine out of his body. That is true to the comics.
That's
happens,
right.
and
That's
and it looked amazing. Like the end is corny, but like the part leading up to it is very well done.
Yeah, we talked about this in Thor 1, where there's a problem the MCU has to do that does not translate from comic book to video screen to film.
Yeah.
Which is it's very difficult to match the villain to the hero. So either the hero is overpowered, and you get that scene that's coming up in the next episode we'll talk about where Thor just kills the Cronin in one shot.
Yeah.
Or the robot. Or you get 4 people fighting Galactus who will just eat the planet.
Yeah.
You can't fight me. I'll just eat your planet.
Yeah.
All of it. And so like this mismatch between villain and hero, and for us to care so much about Thanos.
Yeah.
And to watch this character just rip his spine out in one shot is like, holy shit.
Yeah.
What are we doing? So
Yeah.
I actually think they will do it.
You think so?
I think they will. And along the way, we can speculate about what we think about what's going to happen in Doomsday. I think they will, and I think they're going to need the God of Stories.
I think it's funny that Loki is the one that has not been mentioned at all in any of the trailers, any of the things. It does make me wonder if they will present, for at least the first act of this movie, Doctor Doom as not the bad guy. I think he's going to.
Yeah.
I think I have a whole idea theory based on the trailers and just the trailer script that we've seen. That the main thing will be actually the Earth 616 fighting the X-Men universe to try to stop the incursions, and Doom is trying to help them. And so we'll see one or the other. It'll either be him on the X-Men side. I think that'll be the beginning of the story. I don't know. Who knows? It could be completely wrong. But yeah,
I actually hope you're right because I think we've already got confirmed as of the late April 2026 that we are going to see Fantastic Four, X-Men, and the Avengers all fight each other.
Yeah.
We're going to see that.
Yeah.
And so what role does a God of Stories and a God Emperor Doom do in that? What role do they play?
And let's not forget, the armor, the ultimate armor at the end of Doom's storyline is all pieces he's made out of all of these characters as he killed them all.
Yeah.
So I think I think this is probably our last time to see Thor. So it'll be interesting to.
Yeah,
see. I think this is going to be his swan song.
I love the character. Have always loved the character. But yeah, I think you're right. I think he gets to Rune King power up, and then he loses. I think that's happening.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, let's land this plane. The road not taken.
One of my what ifs here is what do you think would be different if you had Favreau? One of the things I've noticed about Favreau is that he does a really good job of integrating humor.
Yes.
And he doesn't have what I think we've decided because we know for sure that Shane Black creates campy 90s moments.
Yes.
And I think we'd had less of that. So
we could have theoretically had a whole different storyline because, as Feige said, he tried to get this Aldrich Killian, storyline, Extremis storyline off the ground since Iron Man 1, and nobody would bite. Nobody meaning Kevin Feige, because not Kevin Feige, Jon Favreau, because he's the only person who had directed those movies. Right. So he probably wouldn't have done it the third time either. So we'd had a whole different thing. On the note of Jon Favreau, though, we didn't talk about at all the fact that how he was obsessively trying to be this head of security. In this. We didn't even talk about
Badge.
Yeah. Like I swear to God, he's on the spectrum.
For sure.
Happiest,
for sure.
Happiest.
Maybe John is.
Maybe.
I will tell you that I think we'd have gotten closer to a female villain.
Probably.
I think that Favreau did a really great job with. So Favreau's big kind of the movie Elf, right? So he
Sure.
wrote Elf. Zoe Deschanel plays such a pivotal role in that. The character Bo-Katan in The Mandalorian, I think is a really great subordinate, sometimes villainous character. But I don't know how Shane Black could have treated a female villain, but I could have trusted Jon Favreau with that.
Okay. On that note, what if Maya Hansen had remained the lead villain? Black's original vision had her running AIM, a female biotech CEO. So Shane Black, to his credit, actually wanted her as the main villain.
Yeah.
It was actually some stupid exec that was like, women can't be villains.
I want its name and social security number.
Gonna ruin him. Yeah, I mean, a female biotech CEO as the primary antagonist, that made a lot of sense. She was way smarter than Aldrich Killian, arguably. The only reason he came up with any of that technology is because of her. So the fact that she was a footnote in this story is kind of ridiculous.
That's right. That is fair.
The toy sales memo changed the film's structure, arguably its quality. I just feel like, and Black has apparently been pretty vocal about it. He did not like that change. He did not want to do that. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I got for that.
I've got a what if on what if it was the actual Mandarin. What if we didn't have the turn? And I think actually for me, as much as I didn't love the fact that we lost the a really great Iron Man villain, I think for the purposes of storytelling here, adding the extra layer, a little bit of comedic relief, a little bit of mid-act 2 moment, where we get a turn, we get a storytelling turn. It's a joke, it's a magic trick. This is the turn. This is the thing that you thought was going to happen, and it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with that? When I say the turn, and maybe the listeners aren't, right? So you have in a magic trick, you have the setup, the turn, the prestige.
Yeah.
So the setup is
I've seen
the prestige.
Oh, the Prestige. Yes, I was thinking of the other magic movie.
Oh yeah.
What's his face?
Now You See Me.
Yeah. Now You See Me.
Yeah. So you have the setup, which is pick a card. The turn is put it right here, and now you have an expectation of where you're putting it, and then the prestige is the trick.
Yep.
And so the turn, which for here is that we think we're fighting the Mandarin,
Right.
and we're not.
Yep.
And which I think that worked. And had we actually been fighting the Mandarin, we would only had a 2-act movie.
Yeah.
We'd have had him show up at that house, and he'd have killed him, and it'd be over. Or maybe he didn't kill him and put him in prison, put him in the raft or whatever.
Well, and knowing what's going to happen, so happy we have Trevor Slattery.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, Wonder Man
Such a good movie.
did make me tear up. Like it's an amazing show that I was not expecting to be so good.
Oh, and spoiler alert for anybody that hasn't seen Wonder Man. That last episode where he turns back to the Mandarin and says, "Actually, I was just kidding you. I'm not Trevor Slattery. I am the Mandarin to rescue." Oh my gosh, it's
incredible.
So good. It's such good storytelling and phenomenal acting. Sir Ben Kingsley.
Oh, amazing. I mean, their conversation in the street is what got me. I teared up so much in that. It's incredible.
Or when they're trying to out Shakespeare each other.
Yeah, that's good.
I have a theory that I don't know if this is true or not. I think they were actually I think that was a riff. I think they're literally like, I don't think they needed a script for that.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
All right. Legacy of Iron Man 3. 1.2 billion. With a divisive twist, Marvel proved they could survive controversy. A lot of people had very different. It was a very polarizing movie. It turned out. The Mandarin twist, wrong in 2013, corrected by Shang-Chi later, completed by Wonder Man. A 13-year arc of redemption is great. And it's only because of those that the movie has been redeemed. Because I go back, like I just said, I go back and watch it, and I'm like, Trevor Slattery's coming. Like I know it's going to be great. Right. Yeah. He outlasted the Mandarin debate. That's something. Tony Stark's PTSD in the film plants the seed for Age of Ultron's Ultron creation and ultimately Endgame's sacrifice. So this is the beginning of the end for Tony Stark as of this arc, the end of this arc.
That's right. Great. Yeah, I think for me the legacy here is again we watch a whole set of scenes where he is being Iron Man without a suit, and then we watch a third act where there's a bunch of suits with nobody in them. So you are forced, and this is good storytelling, that they don't actually answer the question for you.
Yeah,
they don't say Iron Man is Tony Stark and the suits are prosthetics. They actually say, well, honestly, some of these suits act in AI on their own when Jarvis is playing. which, as you said, is going to set up Ultron.
Right. And Jarvis and Ultron both are also an extension of Tony Stark in his mind.
Right. That's right.
So where does it end? Where's the line? It's all blurred.
That's right. There's not one. And especially in the comics where you have the things like the blood nanotech where his ultimate suit actually comes out of his blood.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something that's sitting on the outside of his body. It's sitting on the inside of his body. You got these moments of the nanotech suit where it's, I know it's your favorite suit. It's not your favorite suit. But you get these moments where he is almost merging with the technology.
Oh, yeah. It's becoming super fluid.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So that is set up here. Iron Man 1, he was clearly putting armor on his physical body. By Iron Man 3, the armor and the body sometimes are together, sometimes are apart, sometimes it's body forward, it's armor forward, and you're forced to sort of sit in that mystery.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, the stinger. For those who may not remember, that is the post-credit scene that we see at the end of every MCU movie, and we have ripped it right out of that context and put it in as our teaser for the next episode. So make sure you join us next week. We are going to be talking about Thor: The Dark World. Only came out 6 months after Iron Man 3.
Right.
Crazy. We got 2 movies, and it's crazy to think now that we used to get multiple MCU movies in 1 year.
That's right.
Which I guess we're getting 2 this year too, but it doesn't really feel that way. Thor: The Dark World, the film MCU fans love to rank last. Patty Jenkins was supposed to direct this one before she walked. Christopher Eccleston hated making it. He said so publicly at length, and yet Loki is so good that Marvel added entire scenes and reshoots just to put him in for more.
Yeah, teaser on this one. The title is Thor: The Dark World. In my opinion, this is a Loki movie.
Yeah. So we get to talk more about Loki, your favorite.
My favorite. With Fenris sitting on my lap.
There you go. All right, we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks so much.